Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So someone asked me to make this video, and although I don't really like to do politics too much, more just like life experiences kind of thing on this channel, I can honor a request to do a subject like that, especially since regarding this news topic that is popping off, it's like there's a lot of people that just like miss a lot of context, because South Africa is a weird place and it's not always like a place that people know a lot about. So a lot of the news reports I'm seeing from South Africa doesn't really get the big picture, and I think since I grew up there and was born there, I can give a better picture of that. So let's get into what's happening in South Africa. So long story short, about 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump invited as official refugees to come to the United States about a group of 50 South African people, white Afrikaans farmers specifically. And this caused a bit of an uproar from the United States, from the left wing in the United States.
Actually, we even go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Oh yeah, it's probably Germany. The whole being under constant threat of torture and murder, calling for them to be exterminated. The Boere! Now the South African government has come out and said that any of the 49 refugees who tries to return will be stripped of their citizenship and face official discrimination. The legacy media is monstering them.
Yes, it's so deeply and morally wrong-headed and repulsive. These are the descendants of the people who created the most diabolical system of white supremacy in human history.
It's starting to suspect that they just hate white people.
Namely a few, I don't know the characters' names exactly, but the Democratic types, some black activists in America, refugee activists, that kind of shit. And then also like the South African government got upset, a few church groups got upset, like the UN a little bit. And, it's like they made it the end of the world. But let's be honest, if Donald Trump saved someone from drowning in the ocean, there'd be a group of people like complaining like, oh, what? He doesn't want to feed the sharks, that type of thing. So let's take that with a grain of salt. It's really not as big of a deal as the news is making it out to be, but I can talk about it for you guys. It won't take long. So why are people being taken out of South Africa? Why were these people refugees from South Africa? Aren't refugees supposed to come from places like North Africa and India and Pakistan and Afghanistan, all these places which enrich our societies here in Europe? Well, the thing is that a lot of and this has been going on for a while now, a lot of the white people in South Africa are getting the shit kicked out of them by the blacks. And by that I mean murdered. South Africa has one of the highest murder rates in the world, and it really shows in the case of the white farmers, the Boere, the Afrikaners people. I'll get into what they are specifically a bit later in the video, but essentially there are a lot of farm murders happening. If you Google that, you'll find all the stories, but they always miss a little bit of nuance. So because this is happening a lot and it's been going on for a very long time, Donald Trump, and credit to him, because no other politician, like ever, as far as I know, has ever stuck up for these people.
Farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. Certainly not the South African politicians that I've heard of. And he's actually done something about it. And for that he's a bad guy, because apparently in South Africa there is no problems, right? So there is no problem. South Africa is a wonderful place, a rainbow nation where everyone holds hands under the rainbow. It's a multiracial paradise, blah, blah, blah. This is like the official narrative, but it's really far from that. And so they've come to America to basically stop getting slaughtered on their farms. Now, what is it that they're exactly fleeing from? What are these farm murders? Let me tell you. So what is exactly happening on these farms? Well, the farm murders refer to the farms in South Africa, which tend to be run by these white Afrikaans people. Afrikaans people are white. So they tend to run the farms, historically speaking. And the blacks are coming into these farms and killing these people.
and it's going on and on and on and on. Now, it's one thing if someone breaks into your house and just shoots you dead and steals your DVD player. That's horrific as things are and completely unacceptable. But what's happening on these farm murders is so horrific, it's actually hard to really explain. And I don't want to get into too many details here, but put it like this. If you've ever seen those Terrifier films where Art the Clown kills people, it's like that without the sort of comedy aspect. So from all the farm stories I've heard personally, it can go like this, that if they don't just kill you outright or something like that, is that these blacks will break in always as a gang, and then they subdue the inhabitants of the house, and then they typically start with the woman. And you can imagine what happens there with the woman. And when I say woman, I mean anyone who's like, it can be the old granny at 90 years old, or, and I'm sorry I have to say this, but it's true, it can be a 6-month-year-old. They don't care. And they will go to town on these women, usually one at a time as a gang, and they make the other family members watch. And like I said, they don't care about age. If it has a vagina, it's good to go. And usually they don't just stick to that orifice, if you get what I'm meaning. And then a lot of these farms, it's a farm, there's a lot of utensils, tools, instruments, chemicals, and irons, things like this, fire, and they have a tendency to use boiling water a lot. And I'm not really making this up whatsoever. If you want to lose some sleep at night, you can go look this up for yourself, but I have no reason to lie about this. It's absolutely horrific, and because these farms are so isolated, they're far from the police and things like this, and so they can really take their time. And then usually how it ends is that they just, once they're done taking their pleasure, these blacks will just kill like the whole family, like execution style, and then rob the place, of whatever wealth there is, money, jewels, the usual shit. And it's not often they get caught because there's no witnesses left alive, and the police force is extremely incompetent and overstretched. And there's also an argument to be said that they don't really care that much about what's happening there on these farms. And yeah, it's really horrific to have to describe these things. You might, like again I said, maybe you're thinking I'm making up, like what they do to little babies or grannies, and the mutilation, the torture, and the just sadism of making the family members watch. But that's what happens, man. These are not human beings. They're animals. They're savages that are doing this. I know you have like sadistic serial killers in real life, but somehow there's just something even more just animalistically brutal about this. And yeah, and nobody cares really. In South Africa, it's kind of a political issue, but the government's like, yeah, you're just being over dramatic. It's not that bad. Or it's like, yeah, we'll look into it. Or yeah, it's like this, And if an Afrikaner speaks up too loudly, it's like when a German speaks up too loudly that there's, too many Hajis in Berlin or something. It's like, oh, well, remember the Holocaust. And then over there, it's like, oh, well, remember apartheid.
If you're white, you're wrong in South Africa. You're a land thief. You are a racist. I'm tired of being told, just because I'm white, I'm a thief. Just because I'm white, I'm wrong in this. I had nothing to do with apartheid.
So it's kind of like that, and these Afrikaners have like nowhere to go, and finally someone stuck up for them, Donald Trump. And yeah, that's what's happening on these farms. So who is spurring on this kind of thing? Well, there is actually a figurehead behind it, and his name is Julius Malema. Now, he is the leader of a political party in South Africa. It's called like the EFF, Economic Freedom Front, or Freedom Fighters, something like that. And I think they are like 4th or 5th in general, when it comes to the general elections in South Africa. It's not the massive party, but they have significant support, and he's kind of painting himself as more than just a politician. He kind of sees himself as a sort of Hugo Chavez, Che Guevara kind of figure. He's Marxist. Yeah, the ideology is like officially Marxist or whatever, black nationalist, that type of thing. And the guy's like the definition of, like the technical definition of based. He just says whatever the fuck he wants, but usually it's something horrific. And he does not care. He's not ashamed of wanting to kill Afrikaners and whites in general. He is most famous for this song, Kill the Farmer, Kill the Boer, which is typically sung at his rallies. It goes like this.
Shoot to kill the mother, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. Attention.
So yeah, he is the one who's saying we need to get rid of the South African farmers, kill them, take over the lands, give them to the blacks, and that's going to create racial justice. Although that's like the stance of his party, is also echoed amongst some of the other parties and sort of aspects, or not, I don't know what percentage exactly, but I don't know how popular it is with day-to-day blacks down there. I've been away from South Africa for a while, but this is not incorrect what I'm saying here. I just don't know exactly how well he is supported, but that is the general vibe. And a lot of people, a lot of the blacks down there are using it as that, like, oh well, he said it, so we're gonna go do it. And then they go to these farms and just absolutely mutilate and massacre these families over and over again. And the government, which is basically run by the ANC, which is the party that Nelson Mandela was famous for being part of, they sort of like turn a blind eye, or, you know, give a half-hearted, like, oh, come on, Malema, don't say kill the Boer, we're a peaceful society, you know, but it's like a slap on the wrist at most, and just like ignoring it at worst. So that's him, and that's what the party EFF wants. So what is an Afrikaner? What is a Boer? If you looked into the story, you've probably heard these terms, and maybe you're not 100% certain on it, so just for some clarity, Donald Trump gave refugee status to these people specifically. Doesn't mean like any white South African can apply for it and just get it automatically. All Boere, all Afrikaners are white, but not all white South Africans are Boere or Afrikaners. Get it? Alright, so in short, as a history of these people, about 400 years ago, the Dutch and a sprinkling of French people from Europe came down in the ships and basically founded South Africa. It was discovered by what's his name? Bartholomew Dias, and then also Vasco da Gama. They were the first Europeans there, but they were Portuguese. Anyway, the settlers came down. There was like nothing there, no real civilization to speak of whatsoever, and they basically created a first world country in Africa, which is the first time that's ever happened, and the only time it's ever going to happen again. Let's not toy with each other, you know I'm right. So these are the Afrikaans people, and the term Afrikaans is like refers to the language, the culture, that type of thing, but they're Afrikaners. And Boer just means farmer. It's not like rude to say. I mean, if you call someone, hey, you fucking Boer, of course that's mean, it's not right, and you will get probably a smack for that. They don't mess around, the Afrikaans people. But if you say, hey, my friend, he's a Boer, you know, it's not taken as a bad thing, because the Afrikaans people have historically always been farmers, and it's something they're excellent at and take great pride in. And I tell you, the meat, the vegetables and fruits from South Africa are exquisite, top class, and the South African wine, you know, if there's a Mount Rushmore for wine, you got Italy, you got Spain, and definitely, yeah, South Africa on that Mount Rushmore. The fourth place, I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's not part of the video. So you get what I'm saying? That's what an Afrikaner is. So why are people salty about it? Like, why is this like an international thing? Okay, first of all, it's the Trump factor. Like I said, if Trump saved someone from drowning, there'd be people that blame him for not feeding the sharks, okay? So there's that factor. And I don't say that like I'm a massive Trump supporter guy. It's just like, that's what it is. Let's be realistic. And refugees are supposed to be black and brown young men coming over from Africa and the Middle East into European countries. Or it's supposed to be like South Americans coming into the United States or whatever. That's what it's supposed to be. That's a refugee, right? But in this case, it's white families. And that's like a big thing to point out, because if you look at like the refugees coming over, they're not fucking refugees, they're fucking invaders. Coming over in the boats in the Mediterranean, they're all young men, right? But here, it's white families with children and women, right? So that, again, it defeats kind of the narrative. And they're white. Let's not fool around. I don't need to explain it. You all know it. I know it. It's because they're white. There's a lot of anti-white rhetoric out there these days. And anytime whites get some sort of sympathy or have a grievance that's legitimate, it's like the end of the world to leftists, because, yeah, it just is. So there's that aspect. And secondly, it comes down to the history of South Africa. So the history of South Africa basically goes that after apartheid ended, it was a big scandal. I don't know if you're an older person, you can remember that the embargoes and the shunning of anything South Africa. You know, it was shunned in society because of apartheid. I'm not making any commentary about that because I was too young to know what the hell is going on. I was born 87. It ended like 94. So the thing is, South Africa ended that, and then it's supposed to be like this post-racial utopia, right, where whites and blacks and every shade in between can all hold hands, forgive and forget, get along perfectly, and the society is going to be just wonderful and great, and there's no animosity or anything like that.
Faster! Faster! Are you done? What is it? What have you done?
People of all colors and creeds holding hands beneath a rainbow!
Good! That wasn't so hard, was it?
And it's utter bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a lie. Okay? It's not like that at all. But why is that a problem? Why is that a problem for international community, you know, of people observing what's happening in South Africa? The reason it's a problem is simply this. And you might call this speculation on my side, but I think I'm absolutely dead right accurate here. If South Africa fails as a post-racial paradise where everyone gets along regardless of whatever background they have, then it implies that maybe that system doesn't work. And that is very inconvenient, because there are people who are very much counting on European countries, white countries, and even places like Japan to become multiracial, multicultural places. They will benefit from this, and they don't want to see white countries have any sort of independence, any sort of self-determination. It's in their interest that these places are mixed and diluted.
Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural, and I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place.
That goes for the United States as well. You know, it used to be like 90+% white. Now it's a slipping and slipping. Canada has also gone down racially. I think now it's like, 57% white. Look at places like London, minority white. Birmingham, minority white. You've got other places as well that are turning like that. And a lot of people will benefit from that. That's a video for another time. Probably I won't be able to have a channel after if I make that video, but that's the thing. So if South Africa fails, it proves that multiculturalism can fail and does not always work, and it could be very harmful to your society. So it's in the interests of these sort of globalist type people that everyone believe that there's nothing wrong in South Africa. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this video. Yeah, in the end, it's horrific, and it's just I'm glad that Trump is doing something about it. You know, I don't think he's going to be the savior of the West or something, or nearly as extreme as like the fantasies that leftists have about him. You know, he's going to quietly into the good night in a few years. You know, when he retires, and then the clown world just goes on and on and on. But it's good that he's doing something to help these people like right now, and I hope he continues to do so. Yeah, so Oh yeah, and I guess as a disclaimer, I guess someone is going to get sand in their vagina about this video because, you know, I say it how it is, and, you know, that's going to offend someone, so someone's going to call me some sort of ist or phobe or whatever. Like, you know...
Nigga, please.
I grew up in South Africa, and I don't have a filter. Man, do I look like I care about this kind of stuff? So just save your comments. It's like absolutely meaningless, you know, that you go around calling someone a racist for having an opinion about like whites being slaughtered in their farms. So it's just like fuck off. And like, I mean, we live in a crazy world anyway, man. So like everyone's racist. I mean, you see Kanye drop that new track, man. That's not bad. I was skeptical at first, but the chorus is catchy. And they even had Uncle give the outro there. He made a cameo. Can you believe it? What kind of world do we live in? And, you know, what kind of loser is going to go along and say, oh, you're a racist. Oh, checkmate, racist. Haha. So just, you know, save that shit. And, yeah. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Oh, fuck. I can't say that really, can I? I hope you appreciate the video. And then, yeah, if you have any requests or anything like that, you know, if I have something to say on the subject, I'm happy to do a video. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.